Happy Sunday. We are closing out week 6 with some spicy matches. I hope you guys are excited at home. My name is Trixler, and joining me once again is Caldor.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. You excited for all the matches we have today?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's the last day of our first weekend here back at HGC, and it has been a lot of fun so far. And especially I'm excited to see Expert today. The last time we had Gazlo, we had Probius, and we had also Cho'Gath. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for us today.
Oh, Expert. You gotta love them. There's no way to hate those guys. They will be playing later on today against a fantastic team in themselves, Dignitas, who, man, yesterday they were looking like they are determined. They seemed serious.
It was an incredible statement there. It was definitely a call out to the top two teams that we have in the standings right now, to Team Liquid and to Fnatic. They said, we are coming for your spot, boys, and that's something that they have to prove again today.
Yeah, speaking of the top two teams, we're also going to be watching one of them today. Team Liquid, who is currently 8-0, looking to continue the undefeated streak there, looking to move into a 9-0. But let's talk about the global standings. How are all of our teams across the world? Currently in North America, Tempa Storm still hangs out there at top first place tier with 7-1. Great matches yesterday. On the other side here, Team Liquid that we just talked about, 8-0. Also undefeated over in Korea is L5. Man, they continue to dominate. I don't know if you saw the Cinder Gosa into BFG combo yesterday, but whew, that team is killing it. And then CE is currently 2-0 over in China. Should have more of those matches in the next coming days. So HGC continues to roll and continues to be awesome here with our teams climbing the top. Is there anyone in particular that you're hoping it's around the mid-pack to move up here in the next few days?
I'm really curious to see teams like Tricked perform. We talked a little bit about them the last time when they were going up against Team Liquid. Once again, they lost the series, but it was a 3-2, and everybody expects them to actually do well this season. It's something that Blumby also highlighted when we interviewed him later on. He said that he expects Alex and his boys to just like move up in the rankings a little bit. And I personally also had that same impression, and also I was going into the entire season with the expectation that would happen, and it didn't. They fell short, and I want to see if they once again struggle with that, or if this time they're able to clench out a few more victories and making it through the ranks here.
Well, let's see. Where is Tricked Esports currently sitting in the standings here for Europe? They're sitting around the middle of the pack, really wanting to compete against those like Playing Ducks and Expert and such, and they certainly can. The scores are very close and similar. Tricked Esports against Team Liquid the other day did look very serious.
Yeah, and if you look at the standings here for them, they are currently on the 6th spot, and I personally had them pegged as 4th coming into the season. They won one of the hottest teams back then in the qualifiers, and everybody said these guys are so good. They were scrimming against everyone, and then all of a sudden things just started falling apart when they started playing their matches. The Playing Ducks had a great start into the season. They played really well. Yesterday, on the other hand, there was a bit of a roadblock for them going up against a team like Dignitas. So we have an interesting situation developing here, and especially, of course, with players, with Crucibles coming up, all of these things are going to add a little bit more spice to it now.
Yeah, climbing becomes a much more obtainable goal here for Tricked Esports with the Playing Ducks playing against Team Liquid today. So let's look at the schedule, find out what exactly you guys get to watch, and find out who you want to cheer for. Later on, Team Expert and Dignitas, talking about that. It's going to be a great matchup, probably one of the best of the weekend that we're going to get for us. No Tomorrow and Naventic, and Team 8 in Tempo Storm will finish out North America, but starting the day, the Playing Ducks go against the undefeated Team Liquid.
And talking about the match that we see here, Team 8 is also another match that I really want to see, because I was expecting them to start off the season with a bit of a bang there. But as it happens, they got shut down hard on the first play day. So today is going to be an important one for them. So North America later on is also going to be pretty exciting. But as you already said, we're going to focus on Europe, of course, first.
I think all the matches today, there's not one that you don't want to watch.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff to end week 6 on that I am just excited and pumped to watch it. North America continues to rock, but EU is what we are moving towards. Team Liquid and the Playing Ducks about to face off. Let's hear what they have to say.
I think they play very patient, they wait for the right opportunity. Like overall, they're all really good mechanically players, so they do like really less mistakes, so it's gonna be hard to catch them on a mistake.
Playing Ducks, I think, really benefited from taking Spot Billy into the team. He was like basically the last minute replacement because one of their players couldn't play. And I actually think Spot Billy has a very positive energy in the team. The roles he plays, the way he plays the game, and the way he tries to carry or is trying to play make is actually very healthy for them, and I think they benefit a lot from the pickup with Spot Billy. And obviously they all speak German, so that's always good to have.
pretty hard to play against. Their drifting is insanely good. Also their team synergies, and they've been playing together for 1 year now. So it's like probably the hardest matchup in the entire league.
Team Liquid continues to be one of the hardest matchups for multiple teams, obviously with them being undefeated.
And one of the things that Hazobs actually just pointed out is something we echoed during the game that they played, that the Playing Ducks played against Dignitas. Sport Billy had a huge impact on the team when he came into the team, but one of the problems that they had yesterday was that Dignitas was able to shut him down every single step of the way, and that was incredibly important. Also, during the first part of the season, we saw him having a huge impact on Falstead. That wasn't really a hero that he could bring to shine in the last series. And Team Liquid is going to try to do the exact same thing. If you can shut down Sport Billy, then that's a huge part of winning the match against the Playing Ducks.
Yeah, in terms of Dignitas and Team Liquid, the playstyle should be very similar. We had a ton of globals happen the other day on Friday. Let's find out if the draft will allow it here as we're going into the Battleground. Where are we playing? BOE is our first pick, chosen by the Playing Ducks.
Yeah, and also a ban on Sky Temple here by the Playing Ducks. I'm not really too surprised about that. Team Liquid, of course, excels on maps like this. But we have, as you already said, BOE is our first map here today. And this is a map that in the first part of the season was a little bit more uncommon in the European scene at least. It's more popular when we're looking at the North American server. We have seen it a few times, but not as regularly as other maps like Cursed Hollow and Infernal Shrines. So it's nice to start the entire series off on it.
And I like the thought here for the Playing Ducks. Obviously, they're thinking about the globals they had to deal with against Dignitas. Team Liquid played a very similar style on Friday with their Falstad and their Dahaka. On BOE, this kind of naturally gets reined in a little bit. It's a two-lane battleground. Falstad in particular can get played here. Dahaka, not so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a map where with the globals you have to be a little bit careful. If you're talking about a Falstad, then it's of course always a great tool for the disengage in team fights. And this is something that BOE is a lot about, but it's... Excuse me.
You okay, buddy?
Nope.
Okay, well, let me take it over here. So we're going to this two-lane battleground. There will be a lot of rotations between our teams. And, of course, this is more of a battleground-focused map when it comes to Immortals that you need single-target DPS. Your gray main, a lot of targets, be very strong at going in for the hard engages. And you want to make sure that you're able to soak those waves. Wave clear, important. Watch out for Arthas. He's going to be one that we probably are going to see picked up pretty often in these drafts. So... let's start it off. The first ban of the day will be going over to Team Liquid. Playing Ducks, again, picking the Battleground, has given that away. So let's find out what Team Liquid would want to ban. Arthas has been taken away. This was a priority pick for Playing Ducks often in the last few days.
And I think I'm back. Okay.
Welcome back. We missed you. How's your throat?
Thank you very much for that. It's getting there. I'm not quite sure what exactly that was about. But yeah, so we have Arthas being banned out first here by Team Liquid. And as I was just about to say before, some dark spell or curse hit me, I had no idea. This map is a lot about like poking. So usually what we are seeing here is a bit of a priority on heroes like Avala. This is something that I expect to see actually very early on by the Playing Ducks. We've seen that from a lot of the teams that have just focused highly on playing Vala here, especially with an arrow build. You have a huge amount of pressure against the Immortal that you can use. Heroes like Li Ming are very strong here. You see a lot of poke heroes just in general if you're trying to raise the objective. But with Lucio banned over the Tassadar, Team Liquid is going into more of a team fight scenario, and that is actually mixing the entire dynamic up a little bit. It's also one of the reasons why we're now seeing Vala moving down a bit. And Greyman, of course, as a priority, fills a very similar role as Vala when we're talking about the objective itself. Like, he just chunks down those hit points.
Yeah, he shreds them down. That organ form is so helpful for that DPS. On the other side for Team Liquid, now that they have Tassadar, things that you need to be thinking about. Zarya here, maybe Vala now with Greyman being taken away. There can be a Tassadar, Zarya, and Vala rotation being picked up here on the right side. If Team Liquid does not go for Zarya, though, I would recommend a ban. Every single time that Zarya was available yesterday, we saw the Playing Ducks grab that character.
It's definitely like a huge playmake hero, especially if you want to try and enable a Grey main. If you have any kind of hyper carry in your setup, focusing on one hero that deals the most amount of damage. If you go for a good double support and have any kind of shield support for him, that of course helps you a lot. Here's the Vala pickup that we've been talking about, so an arrow build can be expected on this map in particular. It's actually interesting that we have on a lot of maps currently arrow build being played. But in case that you guys are actually playing on Battlefield of Eternity and you want to play with the Vala, make sure that you head down an arrow path because you get so much damage against the Immortal and it really helps to just race it down. It also helps with the team, for example. If you have 4 heroes just occupying the opponent's team, Vala alone has such a huge amount of like power behind her that she has a lot of speed when it comes to clearing the Immortal. And we've seen that several times with Expert and other teams already.
And it's pretty difficult for the opposing team to dodge those Hungering Arrows, especially around the Immortal phase. The cores are relatively short. It's relatively nice to land with skill shots, so they can be very impactful.
It's a great area to fight as well, because there's like no minions that can soak up these shots, so you're going to get value out of it one way or another. Either it hits the Immortal, then you work towards the objective, or you hit heroes, which is the same reason. Them also taking the Nubarak make kind of sure that there's no beetles rushing around as well, so that's a great start for them.
Great start for them. Now looking over to the playing Ducks, they are thinking about their ban. Ragnaros has been highlighted and picked as a ban. Seen him pretty often. He's just another one of those heroes again for the defense. Being able to slow down the Battleground has been so impactful the last few days. It's actually kind of interesting. It seems like Ragnaros now is more just Sulfura smash combos and defending in terms of actually sitting and using that Molten Core. In fights, he hasn't been too crazy.
But I actually like this. I feel like one of the things that we've seen during the first few times when Ragnaros was being played is that a lot of players missed their Sulfura smash. It just seemed like coordination was a bit off, even with pre-stuns. Now we see a bit more of a focus on getting these early on kills with a good ult combo.
Yeah.
And I really like that quite a bit. And at the same time now, as you said, he slows down the entire game a bit, since the objective, when it starts pushing through the lane, can be eliminated pretty fast. The thing is, though, we have also a Varian banned out right now. Team Liquid went up against Varian and Arthur's combos quite a lot, and just like these stuns and these lockdowns were a problem. It was actually interesting, because we talked a lot about the Zeratul play the last time that Team Liquid played on Towers of Doom, and Nurok afterwards even tweeted about it and said, like, was probably my worst Zeratul game ever. I really didn't like my performance, and that was to a big part because of that Varian, because he had so much trouble going into that back line without Varian jumping in and stunning him out, taunting him there.
Well, the ban has been taken out. ETC and Li Ming has been picked up. ETC does give you the engage. Remember, this is old school ETC, not before he's changed that attack speed. Still great for Greymane in particular. Li Ming does give you that poke that you were talking about way before we even started everything. The poke being so helpful for really trying to force the opponent to either A, get chunked, or B, you can start hitting the Immortal and slowing that fight down to the point where they have to go in for an engage.
And think about what we're seeing here. This is them taking a Li Ming into an Anuvarak.
Yeah, that's bold.
This is how highly they value Li Ming. You have Anuvarak as more or less a direct counter to what they are picking here, but they are just saying, hey, if we have these standoff situations, we need good poke against the Immortal. Yes, there's a new Nubarak, but we can deal with him. Let's just make sure that we have some poke material available for us.
Well, on the right side, Team Liquid possibly looking for more poke and probably another engager. Oh, they actually need a healer. Oh, do you go for a double tank healer and play in posture around the Immortal based on the actual engage for playing Ducks? No, they go for the Rhaegar and the Sylvanas. So they're hoping to win an Immortal or two here, get that Sylvanas value, and just push it to the limits.
That's also a bit of a bold move, the Nubarak solo. I think you can do that right now. We have seen in the games, in the previous games this weekend, that BGenius, for example, struggled with that a bit, but they also had that oddity where they only went into Cocoon. I would expect that that's not going to happen when Team Liquid is playing here. So you can have that solo front line, especially if you're going for a double support. The shields from Tacita and Rhaegar are definitely going to help out. And they have an incredible amount of Immortal damage at this point. They have Vala and Sylvanas, so they can really rush down the Immortals super fast, and they have also a very sustainable comp in team fights, so they should always be able to just move back from this. Push gets stronger too. Playing Ducks, they banned out the Ragnaros. When I saw the Ragnaros ban, I was actually thinking of them maybe heading into something like Sylvanas themselves, just so that the opponent cannot have that as a more or less of a counter. But right now, they don't even have that as a possible tool to deal with her.
That's a really smart pickup then for the Team Liquid. It's a good heads up there from Caldor. Looking over here, the fifth pick, it's going to be Medivh. I was thinking Zarya or Medivh. Medivh does give you the hard engage that you want against that Anubarak. If he ever goes in for an engage, you can drop a portal, get in the back line. Sylvanas, while she does have all the strengths that you just mentioned, her team fight is very poor. It mostly comes down to her Shadow Dagger and spreading around from there, and then she can work in some auto attacks, but from there, she starts to fall off pretty heavily.
The Wailing Arrow is going to have a huge part in this.
Yes.
So Team Liquid is absolutely amazing when it comes down to how they manage their cooldowns and also how they engage. Their timings are usually spot on, and that is one of the things that we have to watch out for when we're looking at Sylvanas. That Wailing Arrow has to hit home at the perfect moment to make sure that you can secure a kill. And if they can make that happen, then I feel they have a really good shot there. Medivh, of course, he shakes everything up a bit. He can always enable that portal into the backline, as you already pointed out. And let's not forget they use a Greymane here, so that shield is going to help him too.
It's just going to help out a lot. I do think that there is a soft counter here with the Nubarak with the Barb Spikes being available. You can drop down that Impale and have some slows on the portal. So there is some control overall for Team Liquid, but it's not anything too crazy that playing Ducks doesn't have to, think about when they go in for their engages. Yeah. If they play aggressive here, they can make it happen.
The leyline seal is something that is a bit worrisome at this point. So you need to make sure that there is not some insane play from Sport Billy getting that leyline seal in and using that as a setup for the rest of the team. If you can dodge that, I think you're in a good spot here. But for me, it's really one of the things that Team Liquid is going to look out for with this composition is trying to just like get a good position at the Immortal, burst that thing down, and then push with Sylvanas. That's the game plan.
And the other side, playing Ducks, if they ever do get into the Immortal race, they can burn it down themselves with their Li Ming and the Grey Mane. I would like to see them get a pick first.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there, they should be good to go into the team fights. If you actually look at this draft overall, it's a pretty solid one. It all comes down to who wins the Immortal phases and who can really capitalize. Let's move into Battlefield of Eternity, game number 1. The Playing Ducks, hoping to take some victories off of Team Liquid.
Game number 1, of course, on a Battlefield of Eternity. And as we are seeing here to the left, we are currently having the blue team, and it is, of course, the Playing Ducks with Sport Billy. As expected, on the Medivh, we have Chrisplosion on ETC, Wolf Joe on Malfurion, Nund on the Grey Mane, and Chris is playing Li Ming.
Team Liquid will be on the right side in the red. Currently 8-0 in the HGC. Splendor on Rhaegar. Going to have Asuops on Tassadar. Blumby will be playing the Anubrak. Darkmox will show off his Vala gameplay. And then finally we're going to be having the wonderful Nura on Sylvanas.
I want to also highlight Darkmox here because we always talk about him as one of the most dangerous melee assassins that we have in the European scene. And he had a pretty crazy hero pool already in 2016. The thing is, for me personally, he stands out since ever HGC started. He expanded his hero pool, and all of a sudden you see him on so many different roles. We have him on a melee character now all of a sudden. And of course he plays a very aggressive style whenever you put him on a range character, like we're having the Vala right now. And that is just absolutely crazy if you think about it. So he is all over the place now with the damage dealers, and that is pretty impressive. And yeah, it helps them with that drafting so much.
Yeah, to add on to that point, he's not a passive Vala player. He's in your face, aggressive. The double support's really allowing Darkmox to go off, and it's just been such a joy to watch. So we'll continue to watch his Vala play, as it will be a 3-man rotation here on the bottom, 2 on the top. Sylvanas doesn't really do well by herself in a lane in a one-on-one scenario. She can hold the minion waves, but she isn't going to win the poke war, so Splinter's up here to hang out and, of course, help out in the fights. And so Sport Billy was forced to come help Nande. Oh, but Nande falls.
Yeah, so Nande getting a little bit overly aggressive here and trying to dive deep, and that is a present or an opportunity that you cannot give Team Liquid. They take that kill, and more than that, they go for the tower and take that out too.
That's where Sylvanas works. If you do get a takedown, you get a number advantage in a lane. She can take a turret out without any problems, especially with the Medivh. If Medivh doesn't hit his Qs on a hero and he has a huge cooldown, he's going to have a hard time clearing out the minion wave. Team Liquid takes advantage of it, and they get a turret.
Yep, and well, he's totally right. Yeah, let's do this. Time for more HGC. The one thing I want to highlight quickly is also that even though already the setup for Team Liquid is good for the Immortal race, keep in mind that it gets so much stronger once level 7 is hit because Vala gets the repeating arrow, and we also have the increased damage on Sylvanas. For now, Blumby has to be very careful. There's a lot of pressure on him, especially since Hazops has, of course, to watch out for Darkmox, who, as we said, is very aggressive on the Vala, but at the same time also make sure that his tank at the front line doesn't die. So he needs to be a little bit careful who needs that shield the most.
I want to call out the heads-up play by Team Liquid. They saw Blumby get engaged on, and they realized that he wouldn't be picked off. He should be able to burrow charge out. And so they put all their damage onto the Immortal and gave them a nice lead. Playing Ducks, though, gets an aggressive portal in, and Nande swipes Sylvanas down.
Yeah, Nande making up for that death early on up at the top lane and taking down Sylvanas here. Good job by him. Well done. And in the meantime, if you just look at the Immortal damage so far, we've seen Team Liquid do a pretty decent job. But with now all of a sudden Grey Mane active at Team Liquid's Immortal, they are able to get a slight lead.
That bed of barbs I was talking about in the draft is now available. Blumby did pick it up at 4, and there's going to be a very even Immortal for both of our teams. We'll see who's going to jump on the race here. I wouldn't mind seeing Playing Ducks move in immediately there with Nande. They move over to the defensive play and jump on Splinter, though, who's all by himself. There is going to be a last-second shield from Hasselhoff to try and help out, but Team Liquid is going to be forced to retreat.
Very nice coordination from the Playing Ducks. I'm really liking it. Aggressive portals from Sport Billy setting up his team for individual kills here. That was extremely well executed. Once again, they're trying in a similar play, but Nurog has the wave and is jumping back. They're starting to give up position here. And again, we have a single Grey Mane over to the other side, whereas Team Liquid is just trying to poke at the Immortal. But this is actually one that they could lose.
I want to point out how the Playing Ducks are using the portal here. They're not forcing fights right away after they've already gotten a pick. They drop the portal to scare Team Liquid away. Team Liquid has to respect the idea of an ETC coming in with potentially a Li Ming or a Medivh with that force of will and locking someone down. So with that portal positioning, Greymane was able to peel off and force the Immortal, and that's why they win this phase.
Yeah, this is the first one though, and as I highlighted earlier, the spike that Team Liquid gets on level 7 when it comes to Immortal damage is an incredibly important one. So keep that in mind as we are heading into this phase of the game now. We have Playing Ducks with a push at the bot lane, but the defense should be in place there. There's a lot of sustain for them already in the back. Splendor right away with a healing ward, and they are getting that Immortal down fast. It's an early Immortal, it does a bit of damage, and this gives Playing Ducks quite some experience, but they shouldn't be able to do too much here. That fort should survive.
Yep, aggressive portal from Crystplosion. This is again more time here to allow the Immortal to get a solid amount of damage onto the fort. They get about a quarter of health there. Blumby is going to be power slided on. Crystplosion going for the retreat. Nande in the top lane all by himself getting experience through this.
That's actually an interesting move from Team Liquid. They just are about to lose an entire wave because they moved Sylvanas down and were trying to see if they can't get a kill here. So they are missing out on a wave of experience. I think Nurok was just in time with the Sylvanas to catch at least the XP from 2 or 3 minions. But that's a bit that they just lost, and that results in Playing Ducks getting an even bigger lead in experience, hitting that level 7 quite early.
Yeah, bit of a risk there. Sylvanas again just not helping out too much in the team fight, but you need some padded damage. Vala can't do it all. That's why they brought the Sylvanas down, and they get punished for it. Good job on Nande there, pushing that top lane, getting the turret, getting the extra wave. Playing Ducks will now start to open up the Battleground here by grabbing some mercenary camps. Team Liquid does scout it out. Blumby is leading the charge here, wanting to go in for an aggressive play, but with the portal here from Sport Billy, there is a possibility that an engage can happen on the right side and Team Liquid starts to retreat.
Splendor down again. Very well done by Playing Ducks, but also him jumping in with the Wolf was just too aggressive. Team Liquid needs to be careful here. It's 3 kills against 1 and they're falling behind in experience. It's not the end of the game yet, and of course with the next Immortal now coming up soon, that level 7 has kicked in, as I mentioned before. But this is really one of those things where Team Liquid has to be a little bit crisper when it comes to their own positioning in the fights.
Right now we're waiting for Punching Arrow to finish up for Darkmonk. That's when the damage will ramp up pretty heavily for the team fights. He gets an extra 100 damage that's naturally with the quest, but also an extra 75 bonus damage and also an extra bounce available when that quest does finish up. So he's about halfway there, and his team fight will spike. So I think overall Team Liquid, when they get to 10, they get that arrow set up and they have that Hungering quest done, they should be able to get better fights.
Perfect timing on the Mercenary Camp. The Immortal appears and they take the Mercenary Camp, whereas the Playing Ducks, with the pressure they applied at the bottom of the map, did not have the resources to go and take their own camp. So they need to have someone at the top lane to deal with the Shaman camp, which allows Team Liquid to move in a little bit more aggressive in the middle right now, and they take a position around the opponent's Immortal. Sylvanas even attempting to push up at the top with that camp a bit. She has that capability, of course, with her passive, so an interesting stance here once again from Team Liquid. I like how they set up the second phase for themselves.
And it's working out. They're tying up the experience here. Sylvanas was able to rotate down. Now they have a quick 5v4 if they can go in for the engage. Playing Ducks, though, does play retreated here next to their Immortal. So they're going to have that 5th man, if you will, in quotation marks. Watching Crystplosion, so far his power slides and the knockbacks have been solid on Blumby as he's one of the main targets.
Yeah, and Team Liquid is actually waiting quite a bit here. They're looking for an opportunity, but the defense of the Playing Ducks is very strong. And once again, the blow-up. Vala goes down. We've been talking about Darkmonk being an aggressive player. He's a bit too far out, and Li Ming was waiting for that opportunity. Hits the full combo, and Vala is jumped on and dies. The Playing Ducks looking very strong here this early in the game.
Yeah, the moment they get a kill, they put their pedal to the metal and they just charge straight forward and they nail down the Immortal down to half health, can continue to poke it here, especially with Nande floating around with the Greymane. There he goes. He dives in, starts chunking it away. Blumby here to slow down the process. They would love to slow this down as much as possible. But as longer this goes on, Team Liquid could get into a spot to finally get their 10 as well, as they are behind.
Yeah, and they are behind quite a bit, and if that Immortal now marches through the lane and level 10 hits for the Playing Ducks, then Team Liquid finds themselves in trouble. Now they open up the map a bit and they can at least get rid of some of the hit points. And again, they can raise that Immortal super fast. The problem is they lost too many hit points on their own already.
Just want to call out Playing Ducks and their adjustment here with the Medivh and the ETC allows them to get the aggressive plays they want. Yesterday against Dignitas, they seemed to just fall flat, and they never got into a spot where they could fight. Today, they're showing a different gameplay. Sylvanas picked off here on the right side. Chris looking for more kills. Big Twilight Dream, 2 takedowns for the Playing Ducks.
Sylvanas just got soloed by Medivh, and now with the level 10 advantage that the Playing Ducks have, Team Liquid loses another hero. Splenda is rushing away, trying to escape here, get some assistance by Bloomy, but the portal is down. Splenda dead once again, and this is 7 kills to 1. The Playing Ducks are wrecking Team Liquid early on in the game.
And behind all of this, the Playing Ducks finished the Immortal too. So now there's a big Mortal pushing in the top right here, grabbing turrets and maybe getting a fort. In fact, this should be a fort. Haas will have to show up for a nice shield or two to help out. Sport Billy is scouting everyone out. Do mention he used Leyline Seal, so it's not up for another 45 seconds, but the fort does fall.
The Ducks are definitely looking strong here. But another thing that you have to keep in mind is that with the Sylvanas, a game can change within seconds.
Good point.
If you are in a situation where you gain one of the late game Immortals, then you can, with Sylvanas, get so much value that you easily catch up. And this is one of the things. I'm harping on this quite a bit. I sound like a broken record, but I have to stress that again. With Rega having the Lightning Shield, with the Vala and her arrow build, with the Sylvanas and also the poke on the side of someone like Tassadar, the burst power of Team Liquid is insane. If they get one objective that is in their favor, one opportunity to just spend a few seconds on the Immortal, they will rush that down so fast you won't even see it when you blink. It's crazy. And if they just get one Immortal and carry that towards the opponent's keep, that can bring them back. But the Playing Ducks so far have been shutting that down every step of the way in a very nice fashion. They're playing a great game today here, much better than what we saw against Liquid yesterday.
Leyline Seal's out, stage dive coming in. Sylvanas gets blown up, down for 24 seconds. Blummy with the Ancestor Heal. Splendor, though, gets locked down in his body bucked by 4 members. Chris is going off with resets.
It's insane. Darkmorg also in trouble. Halzob's body blocking for his teammate, but 2 heroes already down. And everything that I said about Team Liquid and their composition is still true, but the problem is if you just don't win a single fight and if you're never in a position where you can get the position on the map to push in, to get the advantage, to claim the Immortal, then you're also not going to be able to utilize Sylvanas straight. And that's the issue that they're having right now. The Playing Ducks are playing out of their mind right now. Great setups for them and just perfect engagements on their part.
Playing Ducks, and you continue the aggression. Sport Billy scouting out all 5 members of Team Liquid. That allows Playing Ducks to jump into lane, soak experience, but also start to grab mercenary camps on their side of the battleground. They don't have to have aggressive play in terms of actual team fighting, but just keeping the map flowing, and they're doing so. On the left side, they start the mercenaries. There will be Immortal spawning in the next 13 seconds, so we'll be watching Sport Billy and Chris Explosion for those engages.
I'm really impressed by what the Playing Ducks are doing here today. That's a great performance by them. Once again, the isolated target, Blumby barely getting out of there. And that is a problem since Ancestral is still on cooldown. Chris with a deep dive. The Leyline Seal is in as well. Once again, the combo of Li Ming hits. And this is just fantastic what the Ducks are currently doing here. Without a tank, Liquid has no chance of taking a stand here.
3 incredible plays there. Chris diving in, the Leyline Seal from Sport Billy to stop the opposing team for Team Liquid from engaging, and Nande also setting up that play by getting aggressive and then peeling back and the portals being in. Playing Ducks are just playing lights out in game number 1. This Immortal drops down to half. With everyone spawning, Team Liquid will have a chance to defend, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
I'm really impressed by what we're seeing here. It's just these explosive engagements that they have. They are coordinating so well right now. It's fantastic to see that the team play is on point. Again, Blumby moving in. This time, Team Liquid is trying to fight. There's still a talent down, but they know they need to do something now. So at this point, portals just for safety, moving back, opening up the Immortal of the Playing Ducks for a bit of aggression, so they can move 1 or 2 of the heroes over, and Vala is already present. Sylvanas moving in as well. They're trying to get some of those hit points out of the way, but the Ducks are starting to focus again towards the Red Immortal.
Yeah, Darkbog dropped a couple of Hungering Arrows on the Immortal, but the moment that Sport Billy came in on that Medivh had to retreat forward, there was a chance that there could be a portal into a power slide happening. So Team Liquid with 5 members are postured out here looking for a fight. But this hurts because Li Ming can just keep throwing chunking damage from her character here onto the Immortal.
But we also have Sylvanas now in once again the engagement, and Vala is dead again. This is so impressive how they're able to get these kills. They always start with an explosive move on one target, take it down, double kill now as Blumby falls as well. Stage dive into the backline, cutting even the path off. Chris is low, but he might even survive here. Depends on if Hazops is able to land another storm. Hazops, no way! Chris gets out of there. What is happening?
What I love there is Wolfjo didn't actually have the mana for a heal, so he's like, here's an innovate. Hopefully that helps you out. Chris playing crazy here, but will live for the moment. Another portal coming out.
My God.
Splendor falls. Wolf for wolf action here. Immortal is going to be pushing in the bottom, and now a keep could be in trouble.
That is a 2-level lead for the Playing Ducks, and if you would have shown this game and you would have just taken away the player names and the team name, everybody would have said, okay, the blue team is Team Liquid. This is usually what we see from them. Just like thinking the same way, exploding onto a target in the team fight, having good strategical setups. The Playing Ducks are doing an incredible job. This is, I think, the best I've ever seen them play here. This combo for Team Liquid doesn't work out at all, and the Ducks are using every single advantage that they have with their setup. Especially when we're looking at someone like, I mean, every single one of them. If you look at Greymane, how much damage and how much value he brings in here, especially since Sportbilly is backing him up so well with that Medivh. Then you have Chris, who doesn't miss a combo. This is insane how good they are at this point.
The Playing Ducks have been playing well, but can they finish this game? That is the question against a team like Team Liquid, who has such a high caliber and strength. Blumby goes in for it. Oh my gosh, Chris just blows up and teleports back. Bala, Darkmock, the main damage dealer, no longer exists. Nande's going in. He puts some damage on Nurok. There will be an Ancestor healing. Blumby in the front, Twilight Dream, and now the core will start taking some damage.
They're going for it, and I mean, we have already 7 kills on Chris alone. Stage dive in once again. Archon is over. They're going in. They try to get the kill against Chrisplosion at least, but they can't get it because the portal is always there. Medivh has his tanks back. They lose the keep, they save the core, they still are 2 levels behind and 1 major talent.
So Team Liquid right now needs to focus on getting to 16 as soon as possible. 1, to unlock the talents, 2, to actually be in this game here. So they're grabbing the Mercs on the right side, should rotate up 1 to the top to grab the Mercs. Here's where it hurts. Sport Billy just constantly circling around them. The eye in the sky makes it very difficult for Team Liquid to soak effectively. They have to do it as a unit of 5, which means they naturally lose out on experience in one lane.
This is the Playing Ducks game to lose at this point. If they don't make a mistake, they walk away with a win here. Team Liquid needs to wait for someone on the Ducks team to overextend, to make a mistake and capitalize on it. I don't think anything outside of that is going to bring them back into this. They need to, if someone gets out of position just for a moment and Team Liquid is able to get that kill, turn it into a 5 versus 4, that might be a chance for them to get back into this. But now we have the Immortal spawning in 30 seconds and Team Liquid is an entire level away from the next talent. The problem is they have to fight. They have to take a really bad fight here. They have no chance of just like waiting this one out, saying like, yes, let them take the Immortal, we can still defend. Because the fact of the matter is, they can't. They're too far behind already. They lost the keep. They cannot afford to lose the second one, even if they would be able to save their core.
Yep, Team Liquid at a major disadvantage, especially now with the Immortal spawning in the next 2 seconds. Team Liquid not being at 16 will have to fight, as you mentioned, with a talent tier down and a level disadvantage. They do move towards the Immortal. They poke slightly here. The Playing Ducks are choking in their poke as well. Team Liquid does have a defensive spot, but Li Ming consistently from far range just keeps dropping orbs and missiles.
Yeah, Chris is doing an excellent job this game. Once again, they engage into the back line here. Here comes the ley line seal. They move in with Wolfjo. ETC jumps in. Darkmock in trouble, gets healed immediately. The Ancestor goes through, tries to lock the target down with Rain of Vengeance. That doesn't work. Chris slides through once again, and Nande is moving away. This fight is so far the best for Team Liquid that we have seen yet, but they still lose their back line.
Eventually losing Sylvanas and Darkmock with the last second damage coming in from Sport Billy. Chrisplosion sitting on the Immortal. Splendor falls too. Chris is getting Reset City right now. He's going for Blumby, who's low on health. Blumby attempting to buy time for the moment. Hasselhoff gives him a last second shield, but Blumby should eventually fall, whether they chase him across the map or not. Is he going to actually get out? There's the Impale. The Beta Barb slowing. No one else is moving over here. Blumby finally falling, but the Immortal got focused by Nande during this entire thing. We're now going to the halftime show.
The Calamity kill there at the end, adding insult to injury. That is, I mean, we are talking 18 kills to 1. This is Playing Ducks playing against Team Liquid right now. This is the team that hasn't lost yet this season, that is currently getting destroyed. The Playing Ducks with an amazing performance here. They have been absolutely dominant in this game, and yeah, as I said, it looked like the best fight for Team Liquid so far, mainly because they didn't lose a target to the initial engage, but even that didn't help them. You could have made an argument at some point, okay, maybe if they are able to survive the initial engagement, they can turn this around in a little bit longer and drawn-out fight, but no. Playing Ducks is having none of it. They're going in with a portal, they're in the middle of the backline, they take down Sylvanas first, they focus on Vala, both of the damage dealers are out, and then they just clean it up.
A lack of fear from the Playing Ducks. They don't mind they're playing against Team Liquid, who's currently undefeated. They're playing their game, and they're playing the Battleground.
Ducks are not afraid.
Ducks are not afraid. Power slide in. Blumby gets poked here for a second. The Immortal will need to be defended here. Massive shield on it. This keep is surely going down. So Team Liquid need to be aware of that, poke where they can, and at least get their opponents on a weakened stake. But with Joe in the back healing, this would be very difficult.
They're not even talents at least. I mean, that's something that you have going for you. But as you said, that Immortal is chunking down those hit points hard. Again, the engagement. Yep, that Rain of Vengeance, it hit nothing but MTR zoning. He can't do anything with it anyways. There's the Leyline Seal, and once again, the ETC jump. Ancestral goes through Splendor. He's using him super early, but does it matter? It does for now. Darkmok is still alive, and maybe now a few kills as Wolfjaw is low. Hazops is trying to push them back, but the Ducks don't lose a single hero with this.
The Ducks are able to retreat. The Immortal can focus down, and Team Liquid lives. That's what matters. They stay in the game.
And they save their core. And the one thing I want to quickly highlight, did you see how fast
The shield and Ancestral, yeah. They were so quick.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, when they threw it out, Vala had nearly full HP. They threw it out at a moment when they identified they are going for Vala, and even before she lost hit points, they started to throw everything in because they knew that Liming is going to get the damage in, and we're going to see Greymane. I mean, you go in with the Calamity, you hit the combo, the Greymane jumps on top of it too, with a go for the throw. That was what happening every single fight, and this time, Splendor said, like, you know what, boys? I'm done with this. I'm throwing it out right away when I think this is the target. We're going to risk it. You can play mind games at this point. If you actually go into a moment where you just fake it and then you turn away, then you are wasting coolers. But look at it. Look at this Ancestral again.
Yeah, here it is. It's right when the full health comes out. Hostops also brings in a shield. There it is dropped. It's only about a half health bar, but it saves Chris, who dives in, allows for everyone from Team Liquid to turn around and put damage on him. Had they got Chris killed there, Team Liquid might be in a spot where they chase that fight and go for a fort into a keep.
Yeah, the Ducks also have a bit of luck at times. I mean, Chris not dying twice was actually big. I don't think that would have had a massive impact on the situation as is, but in this moment, all the effort that they're putting in really gets rewarded, and him not dying in a situation like this, because that could have been also an easy kill. Like, one more hit and he's down. We had that situation twice. So it can be a risky play at times, but with the lead that they have established for themselves, they are always in a great spot here. And we're talking again about a massive lead in experience now that level 20 has been hit for the Ducks, and this is of course an Immortal that Team Liquid cannot lose. This is do or die. You have to fight now, you have to fight here, and you have to do it against the level 20 talent.
They can't lose, and if they do lose, it's game over. Team Liquid knows it. They immediately run towards the Immortal, and they start racing. They are chunking out the damage, but Playing Ducks has a green on the other side, so they are staying just with them.
And they have level 20, exactly. So they have a huge lead here. It's not only a stat advantage that you get with those two levels, but it's also at level 20. And this is, they have to face the music now. This is it. You need to take a fight here. Sport Billy is looking for the Leyline Seal already. He's always providing the vision. He's waiting for an opportunity. Nande is in position. Chris, they are all just starting to poke away. And Team Liquid at some point has to explode and target and has to say, like, okay, we need to make it happen right now. Norok is there. They need to get one of those wailing arrows at the perfect moment in time to turn this around.
Blumby goes for the dive, looking for Nande. Have they got him? Could have fall into a silencing arrow. We do have the Hostile up, dropping the Archon, going for the engage. Leyline Sail has been used. Blumby attempting to live. Can he live? No, he's killed off. Here's a stage dive. Team Liquid is being sniped.
That is absolutely disgusting. Like, this is insane how good they play this. And did you see how especially Sport Billy just like controlled this? He sees Blumby diving in. What does he do? He immediately Leyline Seals the backline with a support, and all of a sudden that engagement idea just turns into an isolated Nubarak. GG, Playing Ducks, 22 kills against 1. They dominate Team Liquid. They body them in this game. What an impressive performance here.
Playing Ducks. These are the reasons why we talk about them in the mid-level, where there's moments where we can see a lot of glory for them, and we think that they can break into the top stages if they're given time. Time is starting to pay off for them, and they do well here on BOE. But It is BOE. This is a battleground that you mentioned way before. It isn't played as much in Europe. We're seeing more play as of late, but this is a tried and true strategy that was prepared for the Playing Ducks, and it worked. Now it's all about the best of 5. Can they win 2 more games?
They have to win 2 more. And, we're going to actually take another look at that last situation that unfolded there in front of us, because that was pretty fantastic. So here's the situation. And just pause it for a moment. Just look at that spot right now. So we have everything with the ley line seal right over here, and completely isolated currently is Blumby. He dives in deep from behind. Then we're having Medivh getting in position, dropping that ley line seal, and isolated him completely. So let's just roll that forward and see how that works out. Blumby's doing everything that he can to stay alive. He's waiting for that ancestral, but he dies just as it ends, and then, of course, it's a cleanup job. Sportbilly, again, with that double kill. He had such an impact on Medivh. I would not be shocked to see a Medivh ban coming out of Team Liquid.
And that fight all shakes out because Playing Ducks had such a good early and mid game that they put Team Liquid in a spot where they had to take the biggest fight possible at the biggest disadvantage they could, 18 to 20. But you have to go for it. They were getting chunked out on their Immortal. There was no other options. And if Blumby maybe lives there and Ancestral comes out, maybe Team Liquid can turn it around, but the pressure that was put on by the Playing Ducks was so well coordinated that they got in that spot and took the win.
It's again one of these situations when if Team Liquid gets ahead at the start of the game, it's incredibly difficult for the Playing Ducks to come back, because you always have that immense pressure against the Immortal, and you have the power play with the Sylvanas pushing through with an objective that you win. So for the Playing Ducks, it was incredibly important to win the early game and make sure that they get the momentum. And from that point on, they just made no mistakes. They played a very clean-cut game, very well thought out, and the engagements were, they were absolutely perfect. I loved what we just saw.
Yeah, it's such a great game. And then going over to Team Liquid, we're going to find out what they're going to do in game number 2, which will be back right after this commercial. More Ducks, more Team Liquid coming at you.